Morning guys, welcome back to NZ Mo for Outlaw Kustoms. I think we're slowly finally running out of road on this thing. Road running, just yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to finish trying to hopefully screwing around these floors and bits and pieces over the next day or whatever. In that back seat area, I want to get all that stuff sorted, and then I won't attach the front floor because obviously I've still got to put the motor and trans and everything in there, and all sorts of stuff, but I'll have it ready so it's ready to go in. I guess I'll probably paint it black, just with that zinc it stuff, just to colour it black, the wood. I'm guessing. I guess that's probably what I would do, and I'll paint. I think I'll paint. Probably not that matters. Probably that black. Don't really know. Probably that black, or at least the trim piece around the front black. It probably doesn't really matter because it's going to be covered in upholstery anyway. Other thing I was thinking about last night, depending on what I do here for the frame, just sit down there. I might turn it around. Oh. Righty, so yeah, so I need to obviously finish here. I want to make a piece to come in here. If I make this base piece attached to this, I need to have a piece on here so this top piece can't slide forward, and that'll also help strengthen it up a little bit. The trays that sit in here, I need to reinforce and make them stronger. So say you could quite easily have maybe 40 or 50 pounds of crap in there, tools and whatever, and all sorts of funny things. If it does happen to do that Paris to Peking or something like that, you'd be surprised the amount of weight and crap stuff that you can stick in there that you're probably not going to really need. But spears, like an axle or two, gears, whatever, all sorts of things that you're probably not really going to need to dive into, but it's a handy place to put them in case you need it. And that's the thing, when it's something sitting static, that weight is not moving anywhere, it's not putting any pressure on it except for the weight of it. But if you're bouncing down the road at 40, 50 miles an hour, I guess, that's probably this probably would do 40, 50, maybe 60 miles an hour top speed. It might go quicker than that, but you're not likely to drive it at that speed. But because that old flathead 6 would pull it along pretty well, it's probably under brake for the power. But if you got 40 or 50 pounds in there, or 20 or 30 kilos of weight, if that box isn't very strong, it's going to hit the ground. So I need to reinforce all that sort of stuff. Make sure that is going to hold up if you do happen to do a big long trip and you've got some spares in there. Because that's where you'd put them. You'd put your tools up the front, and you would put your spare parts that you're not likely to need, but would be nice to carry. As I say, we've got that spare gear set. There's, you might put if you're going to do this trip like that, 9,000 miles, you might put a set of diff gears in there, a couple of spare axles, and a few other bits and pieces that you may need. If you've got spares them, well, why wouldn't you carry them? You'd obviously service them and check them, make sure they're in good nick, put them in there, and then you've got them, on a trip like that. And then you'd put all your heavier luggage, your clothes and all that sort of crap on top. You're not going to have it in you're going to put the parts that you're probably not going to need, but nice to have underneath the back seat. And anything that you want handy, tools, or just, for a tune-up or whatever, you'd have them underneath the front seat. But yeah, that's the sort of place you'd carry that sort of stuff. So it's got to be strong enough to hold that jiggling down the road through rough roads at 30, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. So it's got to be strong. So that's what I'm going to do over the next couple of days, get all this stuff finished off. Righty, so you see me starting to cut that, and then I got some freaking messages, and I forgot to turn the camera back on. So I've got that together. I'll put a bit of that construction adhesive in the corner, a couple of screws in it. So that's sorted. I've still got to anchor it down. I think what I'll do is I'll just anchor it down to here. Somehow. Just trying to work what I'm going to do there. Obviously I can't anchor it to that. So if I anchor it down to it here, at least it should be right, I think. Maybe I might... maybe I could run a drill down through this and then put a couple of screws in it, maybe, just to help hold it. I might have to just clearance a little bit around that bolt head. And then at least then it'll stay, and then I can put a strip in behind here so it can't come forward. Yeah, alright, that's where I'm at. I think if I just anchor it down through here, even if I, just trying to think, what do I do? Actually, probably what I could do is just, I could probably put another strip down in here and then screw it down so it's hidden and not seen. I might do that. Just put just get a little couple, even if it's just a length that goes down there, just a short bit, maybe might be some offcut there or something like that I can just put a couple pieces on here and then anchor it down so it can't go anywhere. So it's not trying to screw down through here, if you know what I mean. And then just do maybe one through here and one through here, just so that it can't flap around. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Righty. I'll keep persevering. Yeah, there's a couple of bits of offcuts I'll do there. It's only a small gap in the middle that's not going to be anchored down. I can put a couple of screws in that so it doesn't bugger off. That'll work. So I think I'll just put a bit of that construction adhesive underneath it and just clamp it there. And that should be plenty to hold it. And then I can just screw it down. And I've just marked where I want to just take a little bit off here. I'll just use the die grinder or something like that. Just scallop this out a little bit. That'll work. Alrighty. See you shortly. Right, so I got that all gluing together. Got a couple of short screws in there just to help hold it. And then we'll just bang a couple down through here. I've done a little bit of clearance in here. Hopefully that should be enough to just give these a little bit of clearance. So it comes up against the edge of that. Hopefully it's enough, and then I'll work out to tack a couple of screws through there and drill down through if I need to. Work that out. Once we've got it in there, won't be too difficult. Just do a couple of temporary screws. Well, just bang a couple of screws in there just to hold it temporarily, if you know what I mean. Work that out and lift it back out if we need to drill any slightly larger holes through the steel. But yeah, should be right. Getting there. And then yeah, I'll put a strip underneath that once I've finished. Well, I'll probably work out. I think I've got a couple more bits of scrap around here that I can glue on the bottom of that too. Just little bits might be enough. I might cut something a little bit more substantial than that. I'll cut a couple reasonable strips off here. Will do nicely. Yeah, it's a bit short. Yeah, a strip off that'll do. To stop it from sliding forward. Righty, so I've got a strip across here. I'll just use what I've got. I could have put a longer strip in there, but I'm just trying to use up the bits and pieces to leave a bigger piece. That's maybe handy for something else later on. So to keep chopping into the big piece, I'll just use another small piece. It's only to stop it from running around, stop it from sliding forward. We're only got a smallish gap in the middle, what's it, about 5 inches. It's about 40 mil deep, so it's about 1.75 inches. It's all glued, and 3 screws in each piece. So they'll just butt up in behind here. So I'm just waiting for this to glue up a bit longer. I'll get rid of the runoff, and then we can fit that in here, and then also test the other piece, and then I can play with this thing as well. So that's kind of what we're up to at the moment. Righty, so I'm kind of getting some progress here. So I've got the base finish, obviously got to trim some glue off it. I've got to mount it down. Oh, it's just crap. I've got the board underneath there. So I've just got to work out the exact distance between here and here so I can get that in the right position, sideways. And then anchor this down to here. I was thinking about leaving it just so it's screwed down, but I think I might make it semi-permanent, because this one here is held down as well. Do I really need to? I don't think I'll need to worry about taking the corners off here or anything like that. I'll just sit the phone down for a minute so I don't have to freaking hold on to it. God, hold on. Yeah, right, so I don't think I have to round these corners off. I might do a little bit, because it's going to be upholstered up here and here and whatever. The only thing I'm thinking of is if I do make this permanent down, it just means it's very awkward to get to these screws for this brace if for some reason they ever need to redo it. But if somebody ever needs to get in there to redo that, they've got bigger problems than than probably that, if you know what I mean. Like it's either been hit or something else is stupid that's gone on. But I would like to leave the belt holes for the body at least exposed. Yeah, I just wonder if it's worth just nicking it off here. Oh, that'll just make it so it's removable. Just put some screws down through there and behind here, and just maybe just drill a screw down through here somewhere, just sort of semi-countersink it in. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Or I could glue another little block on here and screw it down onto here past this, which I could do that. It's not quite so easy on the other side though, because this piece of steel is a little bit wider on the other side. I think it's a little bit wider. I can't remember. I know there was a little bit of a difference there when I was doing something. Ended up with something that's slightly wider. The gap is slightly wider into here. I've also got to try and pull this corner a little bit. It's a little bit twisted or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we'll get all that figured out. So I need to get this anchored down at least, and flush with the front of here, and then at least that's sorted then. It's kind of where I'm at here. So yeah, a quick wee measure here just to get this gap. So it's almost the same. It doesn't have to be dead, but you know, as long as it's within a mil or two, or you know, a couple of fractions of an inch, it won't matter much as long as it's really close. So they at least can get a nice bit of upholstery down through there and have a little bit of padding around this. Obviously, I don't think this really needs to be any narrower. I think that's plenty. It's got at least a good inch down each side to play with. And I guess if they have that, so this can unscrew, at least then they can actually get in there, do that upholstery, and then they can screw that back down. That's probably the best way to do it. Have it as so removable. Whereas they don't have to quite worry about that so much for the front seat. Kind of, but not really, if you know what I mean. Just slightly different thing. You know, you're back here and not up here with the upholstery. You know, the rest of it's in the door. So we'll have a quick wee measure here, just make sure the gap is close to the same, and get this anchored down. Righty, about to go have some lunch. So I've got that screwed in. Used the old soap and a screw trick. You know, obviously pipe the hole first, and then just a bit of soap on the old screw, and they just go in so easy. Especially using something that's got a bit of length and quite long, and it's going to go in a long way. Just saves it, but that's that sorted. So I can move on with the next bit now, which is probably sorting this out, and I'll just I'll throw a board over top there and just have a quick sit down, just make sure it feels comfortable. Would be nice if it was down and level, but at least I can get a rough idea. It's not a bad height off the floor now, so you're not too down low. You know, legs aren't going to be at funny angles, so that should be pretty comfy once it's got a nice bit of padding on the top of it. So that's cool. That's that one done. Next. And I'll see you after lunch. Righty, so this is the other tray for the front seat. Now, it's a bit frickin' useless, to be honest. Why they made it like this, I have no bloody clue. So I'm going to have to try and do something with it, because I've just straightened it out. But it's only held. I don't know if you can't really see. I'll see if I can get it up. So I can pop it up from underneath. Look, there's hardly anything holding it here. It's only resting on that far side, down there, that end, and this here end. There's nothing else holding it up. There's nothing holding it in the centre at all. So I'm going to have to extend these edges up to catch the front edge and the back edge, and it's sitting on the chassis there. It's sitting actually down on the chassis. I'm contemplating maybe building. Turn around so you can kind of see here. You can. Maybe contemplating building this up so this is all close to the same level, and like on the other end as well, and then building the edge up and then turning it over and sort of doing a bit like what the other one is, but come up right up onto it, and like bring this right up onto here and then fold it over and then put a double extra piece in there as well. Because that's just absolutely freaking hopeless like that, and why they made it like that I have no clue, unless they were going to nail it in there. But again, if you ever need to get it out for some reason, if you wanted it out to access underneath, then it's you can't get it out. So I think I'll extend it up to here and turn it over and put like 3/4 of an inch out here, and then put another piece on it, if you know what I mean, and see if I can even all this up. Try to anyway. Work it out, see what's low and what's high. It might have to be a wee bit lower at the front, but that won't matter too much. But it'll be easier to bring this side stuff up to the same level and have the front a little bit lower than having 3 different levels and all cockeyed and cockamaniaed. So I think I'll build a couple little fillets here just to fill those little pieces in the best I can, and then we'll make some edges for that. I'm going to lift that, what's left of that sheet, that big sheet of panel steel which I made the door and stuff out of, and we'll start working out what we need to do for both of them. Obviously add this piece on. I might actually bring it down and tuck it in underneath if I can. Maybe double lip it. We'll see. It'll be overlapped anyway. And then weld it all up in the seams, and so at least it's less likely to frickin' collapse in on itself. It's a dumb thing that they've done. They've started making it and then they sort of haven't thought about what they're doing afterwards. So yeah, it's a bit of a dumbass thing. And at the same time as I'll make some pieces up for this one. I'll do the same sort of thing. I'll fix this and make this all better. make it stronger. This one was probably less likely to collapse than the other one, but at least if I double it up and fill the corners in, it should be way stronger. You know, if it gets a bit of weight in there, so. All the little things you have to do. But anyway, I'll see how deep that pieces that I fill in. So this is all the same level, and then find something to fill it in with. Shouldn't take too much, but yeah. I'll drag that sheet over on there, and then I can work out to cut some strips off and bend them up. I'll have to put all the fingers back on my little bender so I can get all that done. So, this is obviously that front tray. Now, I've kind of worked out what I'm going to do here. I think I should be able to get one of the long sides and a short in one length. The front one's shorter, so I don't have to worry about that anyway. But I should be able to wiggle it out, hopefully get, well, I will be able to get the back and a side out. I'll have to make this side separately, but what I'm going to do is, so this is how much it needs to come up from the bottom of it, and then I'm going to fold about 3/4 of an inch, or about 20 mil I'm using, but about 3/4 of an inch, slightly over that, lip over, but I'm actually going to fold this piece back on itself, and then you fold it and squash it flat, and then fold it so it'll be doubled from here up, if you know what I mean, with the kink in it. So I'll cut that off with because I haven't got anything, I haven't got a guillotine or anything like that, so I'm just going to cut off the cutting disc. And I'll fold it over there first, back on itself, and then fold it up, and then I'll have to obviously trim the corners and whatever, and yeah, I'll weld it back on this. Whether I do it on the inside or the outside, I'm not sure yet. We'll just have to see how it fits. But that's basically what I'm going to do. And then I'll do something similar here, and obviously something similar here, but it's going to be basically 3/8 of an inch lower or 10 mil lower, because that's just the way the floor works. I'll show you in here. I'm not sure if I showed you this in here. So I've got these pieces, I've just glued them in and clamped them down and just left them. So yeah, this front edge is lower where the body mount bolt through, but everything else is basically, it's not quite 3 inches, and this is about 2.5 thereabouts, roughly, give or take. It's 70, I think it's 70 mil and 60 mil. So yeah, so this front edge, and then I'll be doing something similar on that back one when I work out what I'm going to do. But I should only have to cut short bits to, and then fold it to reinforce that, whereas this has got nothing. Why they freaking made it like that, I don't know. But we'll make it better, and then I'll clean it up and we'll paint it later on. I might even put some, I've got plenty of texture coat, I might actually texture coat them, then they'll be a bit less noisy, but I'll cut this off anyway. Let's go find an angle where I want to cut off this. You might have to take the other ones slightly differently, I think. But that's kind of the plan. So it had plenty of strength through there so it wouldn't break off, but I might just have to make it 2 pieces. Might be easier. But anyway. This was a really, really nice square edge. Right, that'll work. A couple of decent lengths of hang on, they're not quite long enough, but I don't actually need the full length anyway. Well, I do, but it's only after I go around the corner, if you know what I mean. So I can do it what I need, chop it off, and then I can bring that along and do that in one section as well. Nice and strong. It'll be nice and strong. It's a bit of a fucking is now. Right, we'll just go do a test fit. We'll drop that back in, make sure it's not too high, just in case I do need to trim a smidge off the bottom. Okay, once it's on there, pull down, you know, a piece in there, and the same on here. Slightly short of it across the front. It'll be way better than that. It should never collapse then. Well, if it does, it's the car's probably bent too. We'll bring you over here to let you have a look. Lads. Yeah, right, that works way better. That'll be perfect. Now, by the time it's on there, weld it on, whatever, might just beat the edge over a little bit more, you know what I mean? Weld that on there, another strip down there, another strip down the other side, and a piece that laps onto the front as well. That's never going to break, you know, at least you can put some freaking weight in it then. Why I built it like that, and didn't have a tongue up on here and bend it over and double it up or anything like that, I have no bloody clue. I will try and fill the corners in so it's nice and strong as well. Always, except for possibly just around where these bolts are, I'll do it a slightly different there, but so you can still get those bolts out if you need to. Or, yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking maybe I could put that overlap and actually tuck the bolt, put the bolt through it, and then that'll never come out unless you undo the bolt to bring it out, if you know what I mean. But you've got to be way better. Give it a clean up, put some black texture undercoat in there, give it a really good frickin' coat up, and spray a bit of black on it and be awesome. And just paint it black underneath and probably just texture coat the bottom, just that bottom section. Might want to texture coating the edges against the timber, but at least the bottom section will be protected then as well. Perfect. Righty, I'll keep making bits and then we'll do something similar to the fill back one, but we'll just reinforce it and just maybe alter that back edge. But we'll strengthen these ones up bend up a piece, double that up on the inside. We'll just seam weld it in a couple of spots, just tack weld it, whatever, along there, a few places. Fill the corners in so it's a bit stronger, and we'll muck around with this and alter it a little bit, just so it fits better. But we'll bend this other piece up and we'll make another bit. But I'll do the other pieces in 2 sections. It'll be damn sight easier. I'll come back to you when I've got a bit more done. Righty, so we're getting there. I'm just getting these pieces made up. That's the other piece that was cut off the end. I'll just trim that to fit, make sure it's going to work. So I'll make another piece and then make the front piece and work out exactly how I'm going to join it all together. But I think that's going to be a heap better. Yep, that way, whatever they were thinking beforehand, I have no idea. It just doesn't compute to me. You know, if you're going to build a tray, make it so it's strong enough that you're either going to make it permanent or make it so you can lift it in and out. And I'm making it so it can be lifted in and out if needed. You know, obviously, you know, you got the battery and everything underneath the floor and all sorts of stuff. So if you can lift all this crap out of the road to do things, well, that's a damn sight easier, isn't it? And same at the back. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'll keep making bits. It's almost time for me to bugger off for the day, but yeah, we'll get it all together. All the last pieces, eh? They just keep coming. Right, morning guys. So, I guess we'll carry on with this. Getting other bits made, and then we'll work on the doubling up the back. Not much else to say apart from that. Thanks to all the new subscribers, I guess, the last wee while. I really need to sit down and write down a few channels to do some shout outs to. Some really good stuff out there coming along all the time, like new channels and that popping up all the time. And it makes it actually tough to freaking just keep up with people's stuff. There's so many good channels out there, it's hard to watch everything. So yeah, so if you are watching, please hit that sub button and the like, and leave a comment. I don't care if it's a thumbs up, and just whatever in the comments, because it all helps that. Those little cogs turn on the frickin' YouTube bullshit. Just to keep this rolling along. I'm getting really close to 1,000. I'm almost 950. Congratulations to Danny from DG Retro to getting to 1,000. Hopefully I'm going to beat you to monetization. I didn't quite beat you to 1,000, but yeah, we're close. But yeah, he was, what did I click over 900 and something, and he was about 100 on 930, 920 something. Yeah, and he just fucking got a little boost here in just the last few days and managed to break over that 1,000, which is absolutely awesome. But yeah, it's to get that, to watch as to get monetized. But I think I'm a little bit further ahead than he is at the moment, just because I'm regular videos and they're long. And I need to turn that thing off again. But yeah, I'll get on with this. I'll get these other bits made. The doubling over was too difficult on a hand bender without any sort of hydraulic. It's too tough to do, so I'll just do it in single pieces and I'll just weld it together. Doesn't make any difference to me. Just it's either more work fighting with it, bending it, or more work with welding it together. One half doesn't the other. But I'll get this. I've got one piece started there, the other piece ready to mark to cut off. So I'll get that cut off, get that bent, tack those together, and then I should have enough to that side, and then I'll have to trim it down a little bit shorter to put on here, and we can get that one welded together, and that'll be nice and strong, that tray then, and then I can obviously prep it for it'll be nice to fit in that plastic cabinet, but I don't think it will. I'll just Scotch brite it, and I might hit it with a bit of that bricking, because it's got some nasty rust just from shit sitting on it and in it. You know, when it was probably in the container, when I first made these, it's got some couple of nasty patches there that really need treated. Actually, I've got that fucking CRC stuff there, that'll work. We'll give it a good rough up anyway. We'll tackle it with some of that paint on CRC rust protection stuff. And then I'll give it probably won't even have to etch it then. We'll just put some texture coat over top of that. That'll work. That'll work. We'll see how we get on anyway. We'll work something out for these bad spots that are in here that you probably can't really see there. Some bad spots for rust. That one's not quite as bad. But we'll get it all welded together in the corners and it'll be frickin' strong as then. At least you can put some frickin' weight in it without it collapsing. But we'll get on with it. Righty, I think I've got enough clamps on this to try and keep it square, and just so I can get like the pieces started, and then I can shift a few clamps around just so I can get a few tacks in here and get this sorted, and then I'll sit it back in and we'll do the final measurement from the front piece because I've got to cut it, the height down. But at least I can get this all tacked together and joint up and whatever, and you know, we'll have the corners, and or at least get it all tacked together anyway. You know, 2 or 3 tacks in the corners and along the edges and inside and outside and whatever. And once I sort of start getting it in, then I can get all this crap out of the road and finish welding it properly. But yeah, so I think that'll get me started anyway. Righty, so I got that tacked together. I'm going to go test fit it back in the thing now, because I may have to just do a little bit of sanding around that wood just to so this will slide in and out nicely. But it's all tacked together anyway, in a few spots at least holds together. It feels way more solid and significant now. We'll go pop it in the hole, see if it fit. I'll come back there. Yeah, right, so it won't quite go in the hole yet, as you can see. I've been shaving a little bit off. There's been this is actually proud from down here, so I'm just trying to shave it back a little bit. I think it goes in that end. It'll drop in that end. It's tightish, but it will drop in that end. So I'm just going to get this end to open up so I can just strip it or drop it straight up and down. Whereas beforehand, like you sort of had to, you know, if you dropped it sort of front or back first, and that would sort of like drop in. But yeah, it's obviously just a wee bit tight at the top. So I'll probably just sand a little off the top edge of here and see if I can get this back a little bit more. So I'll just slip in and out, because I haven't really grown it, the footprint of it, except maybe now the edges are a little bit straighter. But yeah, we'll work it out. We'll get it to fit in there. You know, it shouldn't be far away because it fitted in there before. But now that I've put these pieces on here, you know, it's possibly straightened it out a little bit. So yeah, and you can't twist it now to get it in and out. But we'll get it. But at least it'll be nice and strong once I've got it fitted and finished. You know, but really I shouldn't. I won't fully weld it along there. I'll just tack weld it, you know, stitch, just little stitch welds every inch or so, and then I'll probably seam seal it, and yeah, bit of texture coat or something like that, and it'll be fine, and paint it. Righty, so I've got the front bit tacked on there. I was going to leave the little piece here and fold it up, but there's not much point. Maybe when I get it sitting in there, I might have another look at it, maybe join this together somehow. I'm not sure, because that bolt is right there for the body, so I might be better off just to leave it open. Yeah, I haven't quite, I might be able to do something with it, I'm not sure. We'll see how we get on, but I'm just going to stitch weld this inside and outside, obviously fill the corners in properly inside and outside, and then I'll grind everything all off the outside anyway in the meantime, and make sure it will still fit, because I need to grind the high bits off the outside anyway, so it will still slide in there. And I've in here, I don't think I've shown you this, or not there's much to see, but in here I got in here with the little Rolex disc and the DA, and I took all the edges off here to stop it from catching when it's lifted up. Hopefully that works, make it a bit easier to get up and down, and you know, that's also brought this edge back a little bit, so hopefully it just slides in and out of there, and we should be right, hopefully. But once it's in there, it's in there. It's not really going to probably come out, but it'd just be nice to be able to get it out. Again, you know, gives you plenty of access down there. You know, once you got the floor out and that out, that makes it easy to work on something if you have to. You know, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But at least if I can slip it in and slip it out, it's not permanently stuck in. That's kind of the idea, if you know what I mean. But once the seat's down and you got that stuff in it, it's never going to go anywhere. But yeah, so I'll get this stitch welded together and weld the corners up solid, weld up the inside, and then give it a clean up, and we'll see if it fits, and then we can prep it for paint, I guess, and blow a bit of texture coat and crap in there. You push the record button, Wally. So I heat primed it and freaking put some 3M texture paint, what do you want to call it, stone guard, whatever, in there. So that'll give it a fairly robust surface, and then we'll just I'll just put some red or can black in there or something like that. It doesn't have to be super, and then it's easy to touch up too, you know, at some point. If they want to clean it up, they can just blow another coat of frickin' red or can black in there or something. That'll be fine from there. It's going to get scratched and whatever else anyway, so, but the texture coat will give it a reasonable protection, so it's not raw. It should last a while in there with bits and pieces rattling around. So you probably end up putting, you know, some sort of bag or a cloth or something in there anyway. When it's dry, maybe even, not in the morning. See what happens there. Maybe Sunday probably I'll spray the bottom of it, and then I'll do the other one as well. Get that finished up and spray that. So yeah, I didn't want to give it too much on the outside, but the underneath I'll give it a decent coat. Yeah, I don't want too much around the edge. I just splattered a bit on there just to, you know, make it even. Turn the phone around. Yeah, so it's a wee bit warped in the bottom, but I think by the time you put some tools and everything in it, it'll come out anyway. I did think about straightening it. It's only a frickin' toolbox. By the time you dump a heap of shit in it, it'll make its own shape eventually. Like, it's not as though it's a panel of a car or anything like that, you know, like outside. We got to try and straighten it. It'll freaking form to its own shape once you throw some stuff in it. So that's cool. I was going to do a little piece in here, but I can't really strengthen it up anyway without putting a thing in there and then drilling a hole in it, if you know what I mean, to accept the bolt that goes down around it. So just leave it like that, it'll be fine. It's got to be better than what it was, just that thin tray with that freaking little bent up edge. It should never break now. Like I could have probably welded it inside and outside of it, but I think it was overkill. You know, some good stitch welds along there, inside and outside. I had to grind off the worst of it on the outside, so the inside stuff will still hold if the outside does ever decide it wants to break free. well, in theory. So I could have spot welded it too, but should be right. I think it'll be fine. So that's that done. So yeah, I can't do much with that now. I was trying to watch a bit of the playing in traffic video, where Arco's on there and quite a few others, and there's Tammy, I think Miller or whatever her name is, that's tied up with some of the paint companies over there. Used to be Tamco, but now she's tied up with somebody else. I'd have to double check who that was. Arco did tell me, but I just can't remember off the top of my head at the moment. But it's just some big wig that obviously helps sort a lot of the paint stuff out, so it's quite interesting, but it was sort of hard to watch when I'm trying to do work, but it's all good. So yeah, we'll get this one sorted out, beefed up, and we'll work out what we're doing with those corners at some point. So it's not open there, and I'll do the same thing for that. I'll texture coat that too. At least then it's, again, it's got a good thing in there, so it's got plenty of protection. Give it a quick coat of paint, and it'll be pretty good. I may at some point make a what do you want to call it, like a, originally they had like a frickin' trellis type sort of setup on top of that, so I may make something like that. We'll see what happens. It's just so you can have stuff in there and then have like a little lid that you close down but it's still open, then you can set a few things on top if you want to. I don't know, one half dozen the other I think, but yeah. Anyway, we'll catch you later on I think, and yeah, probably see you Sunday.